If I were Nelson Chamisa, I'd repeat God is in it for 7,000 times and quote millions of Bible verses and enjoy the change. Well, you heard me right there. Many are agitated and it seems so easy for some to say Nelson Chamisa hasn't changed anything in the period 2018 and 2023, ignoring both what he has accomplished and what he is doing right now, which has inspired not only state power shifts in the Zambia-Zimbabwe geo-territory, but even the best investigative journalism ever seen in African history, right up to 2023. While criticism of politicians is healthy, and Nelson Chamisa must be certainly critiqued, works of maliciousness on behalf of the Zimbabwe military, disguised as cold journalism, must be exposed in the same vein, in the same way. As some say, they are frustrated, and I speak about what I see, what I also practically demonstrate to the world in this period when Chamisa has proved to be arguably better than any political leader since 1896, who, if assisted, could execute more. What is it that he has done that is less than the election rigging gold mafia destroying various African economies since 1990, led by Emerson Mnangagwa's business partner Kamlesh Patni, asked Ronita Banjwa just 2 months ago? Chingono claimed Nelson Chamisa lost the 2023 elections due to a lack of polling agents, contradicting the diligent work of groups like Pachedu, led by Freeman Chari and numerous others, who not only exposed rigging, but confirmed the opposition's victory. They were on the ground doing the hard work. I've just literally physically come out of Zambia, where I was almost strangulated to death by a Mnangagwa agent, Mr. Hari Kalaba, on the 23rd of August 2023, as I was in one of my many operations I've undertook to expose criminality that is stopping regime change across Africa between Kenya and Zimbabwe since 1990. This is a continuation of my research on the election rigging gold mafia group right on the ground, just as I disconnect from Twitter spaces where those who are saying Nelson Chamisa has done nothing reside day in and day out. And their last talk on the election rigging gold mafia crooks ended with an announcement that Nelson Chamisa has failed to expose the very same gold mafia. Just as they lied to the world, when the truth is, Nelson Chamisa's party actually played the most vital role in exposing those gold mafia gangsters as per their mandate in parliament. People say Chamisa has failed to effect regime change. Those who say so will never talk about the exposure of Mnangagwa's ambassador, Hubert Angel, and the mafia in Zambia, which Investigative brings Zimbabweans closer to their victory than at any other time. Check the live video. Mr. Chingono will never expose the gold mafia as what it is, the election rigging network. They're stopping Chamisa, just as the man who says Chamisa hasn't changed Zimbabwe has himself not changed his own character or military operandi in the period 2018 to 2023. A basic audit of all his communications in the very same period, right up to 2023, manifests a character by Hopo Chingono, showing that all this while, between the 1st of August 2018 and the 6th of July 2023, right up to the Open Secrets Spaces function, Hopo Chingono has simply been in a stampede, fighting, competing with the presidential spokesperson, George Charamba, to become the loudest voice that labels Chamisa and the entire civil society incompetent and bribed by Western embassies or other people. All this evidence is compiled in the attached video right below. It is unfortunate that it took many people so much time to realize, and now, before Chingono harasses people again and or leak more addresses of torture victims' safe houses to Chiwenga and Mnangagwa, people should just ask Hopo Chingono one question. Simply disclose the name of the bank that you say gave you 50,000 pounds in 1996 for a sports car at the age of 25. People will understand that all this while, right up to the 6th of July, up to the open secret spaces debate, Chingono has simply been in a competition with George Charamba to become the loudest voice that labels Chamisa and the entire civil society incompetent and bribed by Western embassies and numerous other corrupt people. Why? And how is this man, who is well known for check fraud in the Zimbabwe UK community, and this is what is now revealed, that all he's done is to poetically ascend the highest mountain, which is not in Nepal, but is actually in Harare. And I call it Mount Everest, where people like Emerson Mnangagwa, who is a fake train bomber, climb it and end up taking over whole countries. The evidence is there. The videos are there. The data is there. Bibles versus bullets. Now, is Chamisa foolish to be posting Bible verses instead of messages commanding mass demonstrations? Is a Bible reading session less effective than a demonstration in Harare's First Street? A brief study of the last 300 years shows that the best revolutions have come from Bible reading, literally Bible. I myself, working on this continental investigative documentary, Gold Mafia, an investigation I started in 2015, began it all from mere Bible reading, I'm being honest. And I'm proving my bit, which so far, my work has helped bring total regime, at least so far in northern Rhodesia, which is now Zambia. My live interview on the 13th of August is there, as it was watched by 600,000 people. And here I am on the 2nd August 2023, trapping one of the Gold Mafia crooks while in the United Kingdom via phone, using nothing, no special tools, no money, nothing other than scriptures, Bible quotations, in a promise to deliver a golden iPhone 15. For nearly a whole month, I engaged the gentleman in conversations where he confirms all his work for the mafia that has been rigging elections all across the continent of Africa. And all this right up to the time when I physically and finally meet him face to face in a shop in Levy Mall in Lusaka. I managed to follow a whole audit trail, and all this possible right down to the ground, to the face-to-face moment of proving it not just for myself, but for the rest of the entire African continent, over the election rigging that has been happening on the continent since 1990, and providing solutions on what is needed to be done to not only stop, but prosecute and unbundle this crime.
You reverse the damage that you caused on the people of Zimbabwe. Remember, these people, they're voting under conditions of money laundering.
And now we turn to Mr. Hopo Chingono's military intelligence.
Peace after elections. Those elements in this country who are planning to create violence, I warn them. We will not tolerate any mischief. We will not tolerate all those who are bent in causing violence in our peaceful country. If they are being given money by whatever authority, nation or country or organization, ilamara wakanyarara, ipukute wakanyarara, ukangoti buff, todhira newe, tokuvarira. We want peace in the country. All those who are promoting peace, the law will take its course against those who promote violence among us. We are a humble, peace-loving people of Zimbabwe. Peace is our signature. Peace. God loves those nations which promote peace, and one of such countries is Zimbabwe. Up to now, many countries in the world have been writing there will be violence during these elections. Kushuka kwataita pano varobana vangani? Hapana. Takawanda over 100,000 here. But we respect each other. We are peaceful. Those vatinofana kuchengetedza nguva dzese. Hapana nyika inovakwa nevanhu vanorwa kana vanhu vanovengana kana vanotukana. Vaitofamba vachiti ivo mangwana muite mhirizhonga anenge asungwa munoenda pakati pane mano yakagara akamirira kuti achipedze vanenge vakuvara munoenda pakati pane vakagara madhokota achakurapai kuvadzisa vana vevanhu saizvozvo zvose izvo zvoda kupevera madhokota iwavo akanga ari munyaya dzacho dzemhirizhonga dzikwatevera magweta iwavo akanga achiti mhirizhonga ngainde mberi tigokudzipendai tikwatevera saka uyo anenge asarudza umhirizhonga anenge asarudza umhezvakono aiwa takakwana tosangana naye anenge akasarudza runyararo norugare haleluya kwaari rugare namazuva ake ngawedzekwe munyika inotongwa navatema asi avasarudza mhirizhonga mazuva avanowinya pamberi nezanupie pamberi nezanupie pamberi nokubatana pamberi nokubatana.
The rest, the nearest church, and they report the abuse you underwent. We have only one single case that has come up in Chitungwiza. The rest, we now know that the women who were paraded was just make up by some organizations. And some of the women have now left the country, have been shipped to the United Kingdom. The few who are still in the country, they are being moved from house to house, and we are trying to track them down. It's all stage managed.
And the killings?
We are challenging anybody, local or foreign, to produce the women so that the world can see them and say this is what happened. We would want to see those. And with regard to that...
Yes, sir. Where do you get your information? VP, Vice President, sir. Pane ma live videos. Pane BBC Al Jazeera yanga iripo marare nezuro. Ma journalists akarowa. Now listen. Yes, sir. No, if Gaddafi jurisdiction kashamwa. Atis wanani. Only can one day the defense force end up after 3 people had been killed by this hurricane.
vachiwenga pane masoja akafilma vachiridza futi.
Some of the women have now left the country, have been shipped to the United Kingdom. The few who are still in the country, they are being moved from house to house, and we are trying to track them down. It's all stage managed.
And the
we are challenging anybody.
That I think the problem with the corruption reports that have been coming out is that the opposition itself has failed to articulate the issues to the citizens. When I say the citizens, I'm not talking about those on Twitter space. I'm talking about the ordinary citizens. So if you go to the townships, if I was in the opposition, if you go to the townships, you need to break down these issues and explain what they mean specifically to individuals who don't read these reports, but who want to understand why they do not have medication in hospitals, who want to understand why their kids don't have jobs, who want to understand how they've been robbed of their pensions 2 or 3 times. Because this particular type of looting public funds is directly linked to the misery that the Zimbabwean citizen is facing today. So I've always encouraged the opposition that, you need to explain to people how much it costs to run a particular hospital that they use that has no medication, and explain to them how much it costs to put medication in that hospital, and then come at the tail end and explain to them how much has been stolen, how it has been stolen. The opposition has failed to do this. And some have suggested that even civil society sometimes has failed to do this. You see, we live in such a corrupt society, such that people start speculating why certain people are not saying certain things at a particular time, yet those things give clarity to the cause that they are fighting for. Other people start speculating that perhaps there are people who take kickbacks, because corruption is not exclusively a ZANU-PF affair in Zimbabwe. I've always explained that corruption is now a Zimbabwean issue. So you find that somebody who works in a factory can organize to steal things from that factory, and that will be seen as okay at that level. So, and you look at people talking about ZANU-PF and why they want to join ZANU-PF, they will tell you that they are driven by easy access to resources, easy access to cash, easy access to things that are looted from the ordinary citizen. So, for instance, things like mining claims, they will tell you that if I join ZANU-PF, I'll get mining claims. So ZANU-PF is commercialized corruption in such a way that if you join us, we eat together.
But that's the sacrifice that the opposition has gone through here. Judging by what we see across the world, Chamisa seems to have led a political party in one of the most difficult dictatorships of the world that's only comparable to Russia and Belarus. I want to say that the opposition, I don't know if people ever seen here, that in Zimbabwe, there have been 2 coups. There was one in 2017, the removal of Robert Mugabe. And then there was one on the 1st of August 2018, when publicly Emerson Mnangagwa's office announced that they were going to use soldiers to literally change election results. There was another corruption that happened a few months after that. That was in January 2019, when Emerson Mnangagwa, whose company, Sakunda, Tagwire's company, it was supplying fuel to the country, changed the prices, leading to a demonstration in which he himself, as an interested party at a business level, changed the figures, and then he unleashed terrorists, soldiers, whether they were real soldiers or fake, I believe they were both, onto the people. 17 people were killed, 50 women were raped. That period was another horror that the opposition and the civil society had to go through, of extreme corruption, which I think should be the basis of focus, or maybe the foundation, before we criticize Nelson Chamisa's leadership or the civil society at large for failing to expose corruption here. They actually did. And I also think that it's unfair to, we had doctors here in 2019, and there's a tweet. I just wanted to state, alert here the convener, where the last speaker, the second from last speaker here, Hope Ochingono, even confirmed that he suggested to Constantino Chiwenga, the man that I was exposing for offloading terrorists onto the people, suggested that he should go and meet the very doctors who were treating the tortured activists, in what civil society, to the other end, actually accuses to this day Hope Ochingono for a data protection breach here, and also literally
I think
betrayed
Simba,
the civil society. But I want to
your
come back
desire
here.
to follow everywhere
I
I
want
go
to come back.
and use your personal attacks on me on something that's so
Why
important
do you say
is
I've gone
deplorable.
anywhere?
You've been
Your
doing
tweet
this
is
for a
public,
year, and
Oppo.
it's very
Your tweet is
embarrassing.
public.
You
Oppo,
come
there are
and
women.
lie about things that you can't
Oppo, there
provide.
are women.
Sorry, I'm going to have to mute.
I apologize, convener. I apologize, convener. I really apologize. I just wanted to say that, convener, just as I end, there are women who are still in hiding today, 4 years later, as a result of the shutting.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Hopewell, I know you would like to respond to that. I'll give you space to respond to that, but we've had some other requests to speak as well. Tinashe, I can hear you're unmuted. Would you like to come in?
Yeah. I just wanted to contribute on what Simba was saying. There are a lot of young people who look up to people like Hopewell. So I've noticed that in his recent tweets, he's been maybe attacking the opposition for not being consistent, for not attacking corruption, for not having a tangible plan. But what has been happening is that the opposition has been attacked by the government a lot. It has been attacked by every facet of the government, but not been given any media attention, by not even having to be given the platforms to openly campaign and such. So now, if you have people who portray themselves as now standing up for the struggle, for now standing up for fighting against corruption. Now, instead of fighting against the corruption, they are fighting the people who we are looking up to help us in changing this regime, in changing this government. And now, when you come and attack that, you know that you are a person who's respected by by people, and people look up to you. So now, the moment that you discredit the 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 opposition that we are seeing as the agents of changes to us, now gives um, it now gives us a platform where we are now wondering if we are still together in this, or if we are, maybe some people are now being used by the government to sway us from what we are supposed to be concentrating on. Because I think right now we are at a space where everyone is supposed to be united. If we are going to fight for democracy, if we are going to fight for change, we need to be united on all fronts. So I now wonder why the attack is just coming at such a point where we need everyone to be hands on, to encourage each other to go on this plight for regime change. And now people start attacking the opposition and seeing it in shambles. I think there's been some sort of an agenda to discredit the opposition. Yeah, that's what I think.
Thank you, Tinashe. Bringing in a very valuable point. It is an election year, it's election season. Things are getting way more heated, and you will see people playing many roles, some of them very duplicitous. So, one of the things that I think we would always like to highlight is that truth, facts is really important, evidence based information. And let's stick to the facts, guys. Let's not let our emotions be swayed by very deliberate attempts at misinformation and misguiding the electorate. And that's something that is very prevalent here on social media. So I think we should be keeping an eye out for that, as Tinashe is saying, that it seems that there are coordinated attempts for people to be silenced. We still have a lot of requests, but I am not going to accept any more requests, unfortunately.
Peace after elections. Those elements in this country who are planning to create violence, I warn them, who will not tolerate any mischief, who will not tolerate all those who are bent in causing violence in our peaceful country. If they are being given money by whatever authority, nation, or country or organization ilamara wakanyarara ipukute wakanyarara.
Paridza chii chesu chesu chichauri kuparidzawo ijournalism here kana tichidedhism chauri kuita akakuti dedhi wakutozvonanga uri baba venyika yese iwe ungatadze handiti hauone marale triple C because hauide triple C yacho uri kuda kuiparadza kana saka rungoona ezanu ni ndosaka paipa wakanotengesa information kune vanhu vezanu kuti safe house kwanga kuine vanhu.
It's all stage managed.
And the
We are
killings.
challenging anybody.
Chibvire kumhepo ungatadza kuona marale triple C akazara masisi ukasabloka una triple C unoona marale etriple C. Make use of your YouTube uone zvikuitwa kutriple C. Chibvire kumhepoko iwe wega ndiwe journalist unogara wakangosungwa wega majournalist mangani dzaidza unonyora usi unenge wadzitsvaga futi. Chibvire kumhepo tetakanyarara zvinoda tanga takapusa sada utonange takadzungaira nosese chidetipidze ngoti baba munhu wese akutozvonange ndiye baba wenyika yese nonsense.
But I am not going to accept any more threats, unfortunately.
Peace after elections. Those elements in this country who are planning to create violence, I warn them. We will not tolerate any mischief. We will not tolerate all those who are bent in causing violence in our peaceful country. If they are being given money by whatever authority, nation or country or organization, ilamara wakanyarara.